How's everybody doing? It's Captain Brian, FishingKnife.com. Out here today on Kentucky Lake, and been doing idling around catching a few fish. But I thought I would did a little video overview on what the Humminbird Helix is do, kind of how to run them. And I thought I would, while we're out here idling around, just do a little quick overview on showing you maybe what some fish look like on the screen, kind of giving you an idea what you're looking at, and then how to mark a spot once you found some fish or found a stump or found a brush pile or whatever it is down there that you want to mark. Maybe show you how to mark that and how to label it and stuff. So we're out here right now in a flat. I'm just going to idle around here and just kind of show you what it looks like, how it how it drops off, what maybe some stumps look like, what the fish look like relating to the bottom. So this is going to be on the Helix 10. This is my side imaging unit that I've got here on the dash. As you can see here on the GPS screen, I've idled over this. We're on a point. It's got a little cut in it, and we're going to idle off the tip of this point. The cut's going to go in here to our right, and we're going to idle off the tip of this point. It's going to break off, and as you can see on this screenshot right now, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different stumps on here. This one obviously a little taller because you got that big shadow behind it, so this one comes up taller than the rest. You can see us coming off this hard bottom here, going into deeper water and softer bottom. And it looks like we've got a few fish here and there. Those are definitely not bass. They could be, these are probably carp, and you got some probably white bass, maybe some bait fish there. Now you got a couple, 1, 2, looks like 3 bigger fish mixed in with these bait fish. Now those 2 there could be a couple big bass. I would be willing to bet on that's what they are chasing at. We're coming up on this other point, and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more stumps here on this side of the point. We've come up, it's gotten wider. That means you're on that harder bottom again. Here's a stump that we went directly over that's right below the boat. Another one that's just off to the side. And you can see here, it kind of got a little point that goes out this way. I'm going to idle that out and just kind of show you that. Look at some more stumps here. And you can see how tall this one is compared to these again, because you got all that shadow there. Here's another one that's either a tree falling down or a stump that's really spread out, got a big root system to it. Here's 3 more that we drove directly over. This one's off to the right of the boat, but this being split on both screens, that stump there is directly under the boat. Now we've kind of idled off, and you're going to see over here it's going to get a little darker water, or darker bottom, meaning it's got some soft bottom to it. And what we're going to do here, you can see some fish out here suspended high, those big marks. Those to me are going to be just single carp that are floating through the water, or just suspended out there. Now here's interesting, you got these big dots like this here. These again to me are going to be, that's a big school of Asian carp here on Kentucky and Barkley Lakes that are suspended. And you can see how high they look like they're on the bottom right here, but they're really not. They're off to the side of the boat, and they're fairly high because you can see how high the shadows are off to the side of the boat. Alright, what we're going to do is spin around again. We fell off out into some deeper water out here, and you can see out here where we've gotten the darker bottom because it's softer and deeper water. So we're going to turn now. We're just catching, if you can see in the corner of this screen, we're just catching the edge of that point right there. You can see the hard bottom to it. Another big waterfish. See how big these marks are? That's probably that same group that we marked a couple minutes ago, but see how big these marks are? Those are those Asian carp. And see how they look like they're on the bottom? But if you look over here, you can see some white dots through that. Those fish are suspended up off the bottom, up fairly close to the boat, but off to the side of the boat. There's another big group of them right there. Idle along this a little bit farther. And you can see we come up into 14 foot of water. Got the stumps, definitely hard bottom, got the white on there. Now this here's what intrigues me here. All these little dots along there. You got another one just suspended up a little bit higher off the bottom. And you can see that dot there, that's its shadow out here. So that it looks like it's on the bottom, but that fish is actually suspended quite a ways off the bottom. It's just out to the side of the boat. And you got one here, here. You can see how long this one is. See how long he is? And there's a shadow right there on that fish. That's its shadow on the bottom. Another fish here, you can see the shadow to it there. I'm going to go and I'm just going to cut across right off the top tip of this point here. When we get up here, I'll show you how to mark, maybe mark one of these stump sets out here. And what you can mark these two different ways. Now if you want, you can hit menu and exit. I usually have my cursor so it's always over here on my GPS. But if I want to mark something, that can mark the spot right below the boat. But if you want to mark something off to the side of the boat, arrow over, activate your side imaging side, and let's see if we can find a stump out here. Obviously there's a couple out here to look at. Come up here to this drop off, and these here are fish. If you like this little dot here, there's fish suspended up here that are throwing off shadow down there to that. Now these are the fish I'm interested in. There, there's a little bit of them down there. Those to me are going to be bass that are closer to the bottom. Swing around here. And find us a stump, and we'll mark one here for you, and I'll show you how to mark it. Here you've got another fish suspended off the bottom. Here's a little group of fish. These are probably either big shad or a little school of whites or yellows that are just suspended there along the bottom. Looks like they're kind of around a stump there. Let's say we want to mark this stump right here. What you want to do is you want to arrow over. So you're right on top of it, right there. Now you got your cursor right on it. It's telling you it's 33.5 feet. You got a distance of 64 feet from where the boat is. So from the center of the boat here, it was only 33 feet. But from where the boat is, as I keep drifting, that number's going to get bigger because it's going from where the boat is. What you do is come over and hit mark, and you can hit mark again real quick and it will mark it. I've got it so all my waypoints are a circle. So if I hit real quick mark, it's going to put a waypoint down as a circle. Now we can go back in. If we want to make another spot, let's go here, let's mark this stump. You hit mark once, you can come down to your icon here and change it. I know that that's a stump, so I'm going to come over here and we're going to find, you can mark it as a tree. I've got a palm tree if you wanted to. I'm really not sure what that mark was. Here's a rock if you've got rocks, and there's a stump if you want to mark it as a stump. So a lot of times when I mark a stump, I use this. If I see a fallen down tree or a brush pile, I usually use the tree symbol, just so I can kind of differentiate when I go to those spots what they are. So I've got that saved as a stump. I can come down here and hit enter. I'm going to exit, and right next to that other one that we laid down, you got a circle, and now we got a stump. And we can go back in later and go to that waypoint. Exit, menu, exit. And we can come over to this waypoint here and go menu, come down, arrow over, and edit. And we can come down here to our icon change it to a stump. Hit exit, confirm changes, exit, exit. And now we've got 2 stumps there. So that's your 2 ways of doing on marking a waypoint. Now if you ever wanted to go back to those waypoints, which I generally don't use that, but you can go to and come down here and find the waypoint that you've got where they're at and go back to that, you know, hit go to and it'll take you to that waypoint. I generally, as I'm running down the lake, I know where my waypoints are. I don't use the go to very often, but there's this quick overview on how to, on what, you know, different fish are looking like on the bottom, how they relate to the bottom, how they kind of relate to each other, and marking a waypoint, and, you know, being able to edit that waypoint back to what you want it to be, or, you know, doing it right there on the spot. But hopefully that'll give you a couple more tips as you're using your unit as to what you're looking for, what you're looking at. A little school of fish over here. Right there's kind of the fish I'm looking for right there. That white dot there, white dot there. Looks like another one right on the bottom there. Those, to me, those are your bass. If you can see this one right here, there's a little white dot above my finger and that little shadow. See, that one's not very far off the bottom. That's another one too I'd be looking for. Those are the bass I'm looking for. Some of these other fish, you know, again, you're gonna have carp. You're gonna have, depending on what lakes you're on. You know, here in Kentucky and Berkeley Lakes, we got a lot of carp in the water. A lot of, you know, you got your white bass, yellows, big shad. So many of those fish all look kind of the same size, but they actually relate to the bottom different and relate to each other different. So hopefully we're able to show you a little something here on the screen and help you use your unit a little bit better. Until next time, this is Captain Brian Brown with FishingKnife.com. Tight lines, we'll catch you on the water.